February 24, 2022, 0450 hours, the Lipetsky Interchange, Kharkiv Ring Road, Ukraine. A column of Russian armor is rolling south in the dark. 8-wheeled shapes break from the tree line and cut across the asphalt at 40 miles per hour. 25 tons of Ukrainian steel. A 30mm autocannon slewing before the hull has stopped moving. A sloped glacis. A rear ramp. 6 smoke discharges. And 2 missile launchers bolted to a remote turret that swings like it is looking for something personal. It looked like a piece of old scrap metal. It looked like something Baghdad had already rejected. Iraq had refused the order in 2013 for cracked welds and rusted hulls. Indonesia walked away. Kazakhstan cancelled. Ukraine's own chief of the general staff had called the vehicle defective in 2015. By 2022, the Western press had effectively forgotten it existed. 4 years later, it would be the assault workhorse of the Eastern Front. It would destroy a Russian T-80BV main battle tank on camera. It would burn a Russian electronic warfare station to scrap. It would be rebuilt in a factory under missile fire, at a rate 30 times the pre-war figure, in the city the Russians were trying to level from across the border. It would carry Ukrainian Marines into Mariupol, and bring Ukrainian guardsmen back out of Kupiansk. It would appear on a commemorative coin issued by the National Bank of Ukraine. Its designation is the BTR-4 MV-1 Bucephalus, and it is the 8x8 armoured personnel carrier that Kiev forgot how to be ashamed of. To understand why the MV-1 exists, you need to understand what the BTR-4 nearly cost Ukraine before the war. The program began in the mid-2000s at the Kharkiv Morozov Design Bureau, known as KMDB. It was a private venture. No government mandate, no Soviet template. The engineers broke with the BTR 60, 70 and 80 lineage and built something closer to the German Fuchs. Driver and commander forward, engine amidships, dedicated troop compartment at the rear with armoured doors, and later a hydraulic ramp. Serial assembly went to the VO Malyshev Plant in Kharkiv, 40 kilometers from the Russian border. The Ukrainian army accepted the first vehicles in 2009. The design was christened Bucephalus, after the warhorse of Alexander the Great. Then came Iraq. In late 2009, Ukraine signed a $2.5 billion defense package with Baghdad, 420 BTR-4Es, $550 million. The first batch arrived in May 2011, a second in June 2012, a third in February 2013. By the end of 2013, Iraqi inspectors were documenting cracked welded hulls, rust, corrosion, faulty 30mm autocannons. The defects were traced to the Lazova Forging Mechanical Plant, a subcontractor cutting corners on desert-grade steel. An Iraqi member of parliament called the vehicles dysfunctional. Baghdad halted acceptance at 88 units. Ukraine was forced to absorb 52 rejected vehicles still in Iraqi desert paint, and send them straight into the siege of Sloviansk in 2014. Indonesia took 5 vehicles in 2017 and then bought Russian hardware instead. Kazakhstan's order for 100 evaporated. Nigerian BTR-4s fought Boko Haram, and one was captured by ISWAP in April 2021. In September 2019, the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense fined Ukroboronprom 82 million hryvnia for late deliveries on its own contracts. This is the hole the MV-1 was designed to climb out of. Unveiled at Arms and Security 2017 in Kiev, the MV-1 was a combat lessons redesign from the hull up. The vertical windshield was replaced by a monolithic sloped armoured bow. The split rear doors became a hydraulic ramp. Multi-layer spaced armour modules were bolted around the hull in swappable panels, stopping 12.7mm armour-piercing rounds across the frontal arc, and, with appliqué, 25mm rounds according to Ukroboronprom, though that figure is not independently NATO certified. The new OEPVN thermal sight from the Izium instrument-making plant gives the gunner a 5-kilometer detection range. A digital Trechem fire control system ties the optics to the turret. Communications are NATO-compatible. Combat weight climbs to roughly 25 tons. Crew is 3. Dismounts up to 8. The armament sits on the Parus remote-controlled turret. A 30mm ZTM-1 autocannon, license built from the Russian Tu-72, firing at 330 rounds per minute with an effective range of 4,000 meters against soft targets and 1,500 meters against light armor. A 30mm automatic grenade launcher, a 7.62mm coaxial machine gun from Kiev's Mayak plant, and 2 barrier laser beam riding anti-tank missile launchers, effective to 5,500 meters, with a tandem warhead that punches through roughly 800mm of rolled homogeneous steel behind explosive reactive armor. That is a tank-killing reach on an armored personnel carrier. The power plant is Ukrainian, a 3TD2 stroke opposed piston diesel producing 500 horsepower, descended from the Kharkiv tank engine family. Top road speed, 110 km per hour. Operational range, 690 km. 2 water jets at the rear drive it across rivers at 10 km per hour. Every specification answers a failure of the BTR-4E. Every bolt is a rebuttal to Baghdad. Before we go into where the Bucephalus actually fought, if you are enjoying this deep dive into modern armoured warfare and Ukrainian engineering under fire, hit subscribe. It takes a second, costs nothing, and it helps the channel grow. February 25, 2022. Stary Saltiv, northeast of Kharkiv. The 92nd Separate Mechanized Brigade, callsign Sirko, is holding the Russian Ring Road approach. 6 BTR-4Es of the 6th Mechanized Company are in overwatch when a Rosgvardia column rolls into the kill zone. Russian tank fire opens the engagement. 2 Bucephaluses are hit in the opening minutes. The survivors do not pull back. They flank. According to the Ukrainian Ministry of Defense outlet Army Inform, the remaining BTR-4s maneuvered around the column and, in their words, burned it to the ground with 30mm autocannon fire and barrier missiles. The widely repeated claim that this engagement destroyed elements of the 488th Motor Rifle Regiment has never been confirmed by any Russian source and should be treated as unverified. What is verified is what happened in Mariupol, March 13, 2022. Transportner Street. A Bucephalus of the Azov Regiment, then designated the 12th Special Purpose Brigade, sits idling at a boarded-up intersection. The gunner slews the Parus turret 90 degrees. He destroys a Russian BTR-82A hidden behind stacked tyres and crates. He walks the 30mm rounds into the side of a T-72BV. Explosive reactive armour detonates down the flank. He keeps firing until the tank stops moving. Then he puts rounds into the engine compartment of a Russian BMP at point-blank range. The footage becomes the most viewed Ukrainian armoured sequence of the war. On April 13th, Colonel Volodymyr Baranyuk, commander of the 36th Separate Marine Brigade, leads an armoured breakout from the Ilyich Iron and Steel Works with Bucephaluses in the column. It fails. Baranyuk is captured. Major Serhiy Volinsky, callsign Volina, takes the 501st Battalion Remnant to Azovstal. On April 20, the 36th Marines and Azov use their remaining BTR-4s to extract roughly 500 border guards and police into the steel plant. It is one of the last tactical successes of the siege. On May 20, the garrison surrenders. Most of the Mariupol Bucephaluses are destroyed, abandoned or paraded as Russian trophies. One captured BTR-4E1 is shipped via Oral to the Russian Ministry of Defense's 38th Research Institute at Bronnitsy for reverse engineering. 5 months later, Ukrainian troops recapture that same vehicle intact during the Kharkiv counteroffensive. The OSINT group TISK photographs it and writes a single caption, "Welcome home." The sole BTR-4 MV1 prototype fights alongside the 5th Slobozhansk Brigade of the National Guard. It is first spotted on the outskirts of Kharkiv in March. It participates in the Balaklia-Kupiansk breakthrough that liberates Izium on September 10. It is photographed publicly with its crew in a liberated village on October 12th. On September 27th, a 92nd Brigade Bucephalus destroys a Russian R-330ZH Zetel electronic warfare jammer with autocannon fire, a high-value non-armor target killed by a wheeled APC. On December 6, video distributed online shows a BTR-4E destroying a Russian T-80BV main battle tank with a barrier missile fired from the Parus turret. It is the clearest public record of a Bucephalus killing a modern Russian tank. In July 2023, a 5th Slobozhansk Brigade officer with the call sign Shaman speaks on camera about the MV1. He says it exists in only one copy. He says it has good overview, good maneuverability, powerful electronics that let the crew target the enemy. The combat module is functional and powerful. Most importantly, he says, it protects the crew well. It has demonstrated these qualities, in his words, in different directions and in different combat conditions. Through 2023, Bucephaluses fixture themselves on secondary axes. The 3rd Rapid Reaction Brigade Spartan receives a new batch in April and is filmed firing 30mm rounds at Wagner positions in the Bakhmut suburbs. Crews bolt cage and slat armor onto the hulls to survive rocket-propelled grenades and first-person view drones. The 56th Separate Motorized Infantry Brigade, named for the city the Marines lost, receives new vehicles built in 2023. Crewman Lipko tells the camera that the most important thing is that production of the Ukrainian Bucephalus is still going on. The vehicle he's driving that day, he says, was made in 2023. In 2024, deliveries expand to the 58th Separate Motorized Brigade in November. In 2025, to the 14th Separate Mechanized Brigade in March. In early 2026, to the 42nd Brigade Valery Hudzi. On the Pokrovsk axis, 92nd Assault Brigade crews pair their Bucepholuses with bomber drones. The drones drop munitions on structures. The BTR follows with cannon fire. A 92nd fighter summarizes a dismount slaughter in Dnipropetrovsk Oblast to army in form in 7 words. They mowed down an unimaginable number. Around Vovchansk, after more than 600 days of fighting, Russian forces abandon armoured assaults entirely. Euromaidan Press reports on February 2, 2026, that they attack with infantry-only waves. Pokrovsk and Mirnohorod fall to Russian forces in early 2026. The advances west of those cities stall. On paper, the Russian BTR-82A looked like a match. Same 30mm class armament, lower weight, simpler logistics. In practice, the Bucephalus carries something the BTR-82A does not: barrier anti-tank missiles with a 5,500-metre reach and 800mm of penetration. The BTR-82A cannot touch a T-80 at range. The BTR-4 can, and has. The Western-style layout saves dismounts. On a BTR-82A, infantry climb out of side or roof hatches under fire. On the Bucephalus, the rear ramp drops and 8 men walk out behind the hull. Against Ukrainian service Western vehicles, the picture is mixed. The Bradley outguns it in protection. The Striker in Ukrainian configuration carries only a 50 caliber machine gun. No anti-tank missiles. The Bucephalus sits above the Striker in firepower and generations ahead of the M113. Ukraine keeps building it for 4 reasons: supply chain sovereignty, ammunition commonality, repair autonomy after KMDB, and the Zhytomyr armoured plant brought hull fabrication in-house, and an industrial surge. Armoured vehicle output by 2024 was up roughly 30 times pre-war levels, according to then Minister of Strategic Industries Herman Smetana. As of April 2026, the Oryx visually confirmed lost database lists between 133 and 148 BTR-4s in the destroyed, damaged, abandoned or captured columns, 21 captured, roughly 112 destroyed, against an estimated fleet of 250. Oryx lists the MV-1 prototype separately as, in their phrasing, a prototype put into use during the war. It has no visually confirmed irrecoverable loss. The Malyshev plant was struck repeatedly and never silenced. Russian artillery hit the industrial zone on March 7, 2022. A missile strike followed in December. On February 12, 2023, the Russian Ministry of Defense claimed a precision strike on the Malyshev assembly shops. On December 30, 2023, and again on January 2, 2024, the Malyshev armour repair plant was struck during the New Year missile wave, including by North Korean KN-23 ballistic missiles. Another precision strike came on October 21, 2025. Ukroboronprom responded with decentralization. Hull and assembly work dispersed across the Kharkiv armoured plant, the Zhytomyr armoured plant, the KMDB line, and partial underground operations under blackout protocol. Financing shifted toward the so-called Danish model: $400 million in 2024, $1.4 billion in 2025, plus €900 million committed by Denmark for 2024 through 2027, and €1 billion from European Union frozen Russian asset proceeds in 2025. In late 2024, the National Bank of Ukraine issued a commemorative BTR-4 Bucephalus coin. In 2026, Myanmar paraded the first locally assembled BTR-4U units, under a joint venture signed before the war. The BTR-4 became the first Ukrainian armoured design license, built and paraded by a foreign customer during Ukraine's own war. February 24, 2022, 0450 hours, the Lipetsky interchange. The Bucephalus had been called defective by its own chief of the general staff. It had been sent back from Baghdad with cracked welds. It had been written off by Indonesia and forgotten by Kazakhstan. It had no night vision advantage over Western vehicles. It had no digital battle management system to match a Bradley. Its thermal sight was new and unproven. Its hull was built in a factory 40 kilometers from the country that wanted the factory destroyed, and yet it worked. It worked on the Kharkiv Ring Road, where the 92nd Brigade flanked a Rosgvardia column in the dark. It worked on Transportna Street in Mariupol, where one gunner killed 3 vehicles in 90 seconds. It worked in Izium, where a single prototype rolled into a liberated village next to trophy Russian hardware. It worked in the Bakhmut suburbs, the Pokrovsk axis, the Selidov coal mines, and the Kursk salient. It worked coming out of the Malyshev plant in 2023 while the plant was still burning from missile strikes. The design philosophy was simple: build the vehicle the enemy cannot ignore, with the industrial base the enemy is trying to destroy, using the engine the enemy cannot embargo. 130 confirmed losses, 21 captured, and most of those recovered. 0 surrender of production. 1 national coin. One license-built parade in Southeast Asia, one prototype still running after 4 years of combat. That is not luck. That is Ukrainian operational sovereignty. That is the warhorse rebuilt by the war that was supposed to break it. The Bucephalus was never supposed to be famous. Now it will not stop.